Terry Fontenot, Raheem Morris, Arthur Blank, everyone with the Atlanta Falcons, I think just got some really good news from Roger Goodell and the National Football League. And I want to explain why on today's episode. But this Brett Kollman tweet has gained some traction online. If you don't know, Brett Kollman does an excellent job of breaking down the X's and O's on his YouTube channel. Highly recommend you go watch his stuff. I always enjoy his content. But he talks about how the NFL, their salary cap, is going to explode again. And it's because they are tweaking the way that they measure and view ratings, since they are now going to take into account streaming. Whereas before it was strictly cable, and now they're going to get more data to show all the networks. We've got way more eyeballs in our content. We want more money for you guys to air our games. And the more money the league makes, the more money teams make. The more money teams make, higher the salary cap goes. So we'll cycle through some of these Brett Kollman tweets because it's a bit lengthy. You can go, read it for yourself a bit closer on his Twitter. I also put it on my Twitter if you'd like, but there are some important nuggets in this part right here. But I thought one really important part here was towards the end. As Kollman says, if I'm a GM, that means next year or maybe even this year, I can sign some truly outrageously backloaded deals with a ton of funny money. And when I read this tweet, I started to think to myself, all right, which teams are going to capitalize on this the most? Now, the Eagles, we saw how aggressive they are in spending, and they were awarded with a Super Bowl trophy. The Browns have been aggressive in their spending. And then I remembered this 90-second clip I listened to from Ari Miroff's Twitter, where he did an interview with Jason from Over the Cap, and he asked him, hey, if the NFL moved to a no salary cap league, who would be the Dodgers of the NFL? Who would just spend money like it's burning a hole in their pocket? And here's what Jason from Over the Cap said. It would either be Philadelphia or Atlanta. I think it would be one of those two that would go for it. And that's when my wheels started to really turn after reading Brett Kollman's tweet of, well, salary cap's not going to go away. But if it's going to continue to explode, which teams are going to take the most advantage of it? Because I don't think all 32 teams are going to look at this. And by teams, I should rephrase by saying, I don't think all 32 owners are going to look at this and go, this is great news. I get to spend more money on players. The Bengals are not happy about this. The Bengals, up until Joe Burrow, would not even put guaranteed money in the second year of a player's contract. The NFL salary cap is about to go through the roof. And it already is, and it's about to go up a whole nother level. So with teams like the Bengals, think of teams where the owner, their business is the team, right? Arthur Blank's business is not the Atlanta Falcons, right? He's got so many other entities and adventures and whatnot. But the Bengals, the Bears, the Raiders, those are ownership groups where their business is the team, and they don't have billions upon billions of dollars where they view player contracts as just like chump change, and they don't mind giving out big deals. Arthur Blank, while he may not be everyone's preferred owner with the lack of success and just pure winning since taking over, at least he does not keep his hands in his pockets. He is willing to shell out big bucks. He gave Kirk Cousins $180 million at the age of 36. Was it a good idea looking back? No, probably not. But I'd rather have an owner who's willing to at least step into the arena and maybe make a mistake than stand on the sidelines and you'll always be wondering, what could we have done? Are we ever going to sign someone good? We don't have an ownership group that plays like the Dodgers. They play like the Oakland A's, and that's just not going to get us to where we want to go. So the NFL salary cap, as I was saying, continues to go up, and it's kind of like, you know how college football, I think this year or like last year was the first year, it's like there's no more guys out there who have a COVID year, and that's why they have an extra season or two. You know what I mean? We are kind of distanced ourselves away enough from the 2021 COVID, salary cap impact where the salary cap actually went down 8%. And you can see how healthy it has rebounded since. And right now they're projecting it at $272.5 million. I think they're lowballing it. I think it's going to be much closer to like 275, maybe even 280. Now, there's a lot of financial mumbo jumbo here, and I don't work on Wall Street, so I'm not trying to sell myself as an expert on this category. But I don't think it takes someone on Wall Street to go, Wow, the NFL sold 2 games on Christmas Day to Netflix for $150 million. It's not difficult math to go $150 million divided by 32. That's how much all teams make from this deal right here. And now you start to think about how much more streaming is going to be happening. There's going to be games next year in Brazil, in Dublin, Berlin, in London. They'll be in Australia soon. You think those games are going to be on Fox? No. They're going to sell them to streaming sites, which you and I as a consumer might get frustrated about because that's one more account we have and we have to have 8 or 9 subscriptions. But the NFL is going to make a boatload of cash off of just 1 or 2 sell-off games, on top of the money they're already making from CBS, Fox, NBC, which that money is about to go up because now they're incorporating streaming services into the Nielsen ratings, and there is going to be money coming over hand over fist. And so as all this revenue goes up, the salary cap follows. Before the last 3 or 4 years, the salary cap went up because TV rights went up every so often. Jersey sales, like the merchandise sales aren't a major money mover when it comes to the salary cap increase. $150 million for 2 games, and now you start to see how this could snowball. The cap's going to explode. And when it explodes, there are going to be teams that take advantage of it. Like Peacock, just to add on to it one more time. $110 million for the Chiefs-Dolphins wildcard game last year. And they liked it so much, they paid for the Eagles-Packers game in Brazil on Thursday or Friday to kick off the NFL season. Amazon Prime, $120 million. This money is going to start showing in the revenue and the reports that the NFLPA sees from the league. And they're not going to be outlandish for saying, okay, you guys are making more money. So are the players now. The salary cap's going to go up. So with the salary cap, I think, close to just exploding, you have to start asking yourself, which teams are going to be aggressive in the nature that they spend? Which teams are going to be comfortable with putting and pushing money into the future? Which I know the Saints have given that a bad name, but look at the Eagles. That has been their bread and butter. It has allowed them to have 2 wide receivers making $25 million plus. Saquon Barkley, the highest paid running back in football. I think he's the highest paid, 3rd highest paid running back, top 3. Jalen Hurts making $51 million. And that's just on offense. I haven't talked about the offensive line. I haven't talked about the defense. How do they do this? They're not cheating. They're pushing money into the future. Why are they doing that? Because they want to maximize their spending now. And they know the salary cap will continue to go up. And while they do push that money into the future, and eventually you have to pay the piper, the percentage cap hit of a player making a $10 million cap hit in 2025 is going to be vastly different than a $10 million cap hit in 2028. So why not lower the cap hits now, push it into the future, kind of go all in, but it's not even going all in, just being aggressive and putting yourself in a position to be as successful as possible, knowing worst case scenario, if things don't work out, the cap's going to go up, and while that future money looks like a big number now, that's because it's a big number against $270 million. It won't be a big number when it's compared to a $330 million salary cap. That's where it's going to dramatically change and alter. Now, I think the Atlanta Falcons should maybe not be uberly aggressive in 2025, but I think 2026 should be their time to shine. 2025, I think they should make the smart acquisitions, whatever, but they don't have to break the bank because they still want to learn if they have a for sure thing in Michael Penix, which I'm confident in, but I understand wanting to be a little bit cautious before you start shelling out big contracts like, damn, we have all these pieces making a lot of money, but we're not going anywhere because we don't have a conductor. Next offseason, if you know you got the right man in charge with Michael Penix at quarterback, there should be no excuse for how big the salary cap is going to go up with him, Penix, being on a rookie contract still, to go out and make blockbuster signings, sign and trades, all that stuff at defensive end, at wide receiver, whatever you want. You have got Bijan, London on rookie deal still. You can extend them. And just like Jalen Hurts when he got his extension, push their money towards the end, knowing the cap will go up and the percentage cap hit by then will be so much smaller than it is right now. I think next year is the perfect time for Atlanta to strike. I know right now we're all impatient people and we want the fun toy right this second here, but I still think it'd be wise for Atlanta to make some moves in free agency. But I think next year is the time when they go out and they spend the most amount of money maybe ever. Although Kirk Cousins $180 million and just that one signing will be tough to top, but close to it in a single offseason period. A lot of this comes back to whether or not Michael Penix is the guy, though, because you're not going to make these big blockbuster moves. Like the Texans, for example, they found out, oh, C.J. Stroud's our guy. We're going to go trade for Stephon Diggs. We're going to extend Nico Collins. We're going to go out and get Danielle Hunter. We're going to make all these moves right here. They don't make all those moves if Stroud does not show a promising rookie season. So I'm confident in Michael Penix. I thought we saw some really good stuff from him in year one. Small sample size, only started 3 games, but give him a nice full offseason to get up to speed on the NFL, and I think he's going to hit the ground running in 2025. So I'll put myself at a 8.1 out of 10 for Michael Penix. Before we sign off, I do want to do a quick wheel spin. I picked 6 commenters from our previous video, and let's see who is the lucky winner for today's show. So let's spin that wheel. Who's it going to be? Looking good for Leslie. Hit the brakes, Les. There we go. Leslie, thank you so much for commenting, viewing, and being a loyal supporter of the channel. 2 claps for Leslie, everyone. 1, 2. I will sign off, and I'll see everyone back tomorrow.